The third one, which is very, very important, is sensitization. I can't say it enough.
I'm sorry to butt in here, but I want you to dwell a bit on this second one, access to land.
Yes.
And I say this because some of the issues surrounding the issue of access to land, you try to talk about maybe being predominant in the north, but of course playing out in the south as well. These are deeply cultural, deeply traditional issues. So you're contending with issues that are deeply ingrained in rural communities. I mean, part of what you do is advocacy. Yes, government would come in at some point, initiate policies, but at the ground level where these things play out, what do groups like your, or what exactly, or what are the kind of changes that groups, advocacy groups like yourselves, like yours, as a matter of fact, I beg your pardon, like yours, really want to see, the kind of changes you want to see when it comes to this subject of access to land?
Okay, thank you. I'll answer that from my third point, sensitization and our orientation as a people. Okay. I personally had made tons and tons of courtesy visit to traditional and religious leaders, because that is where the work starts from. Our religion and our tradition is not helping when it comes to the issue of land accessibility to a woman or for a woman, not only in the north, but of course predominantly in the north. We paid visit to traditional rulers and religious rulers for them to actually sit and work with us. Then we bring in the political aspect of it, or the government aspect of it. Because the truth is, our women are the ones that is cultivating the food that we are consuming as a nation. There is no argument in that. So this issue of land accessibility plays a major role in us having food insecurity in the country. And that's why I use this medium again to reach out to our traditional rulers, religious rulers, and the government. These are the three stakeholders, and us, of course, that we need to come to the table and start putting policies and religious and traditional beliefs in place to see to it that an average Nigerian man on the street would understand why his wife, his daughter should also have right to land ownership as much as his male child does.
It's not a function of law now. Have established that women have a right to property, women have a right to own land and all of that. So it's not a function of law.
It is actually. The implementation can come from the government. After God is government. If government wants to really see this happening, they know how to go about it and to... Okay, the law is there, but like I said earlier, who is implementing these policies and these laws? The implementation has to be done. Nobody is above the law. So if the government really wants this to happen, they work with what we call implementation of this law.
Okay. So now, again, I take you back to what you said about your advocacy to traditional leaders and all of that. And I think, and this is just my opinion, you know, I would think what we need largely is perhaps behavior change.
Yes, that was my third point.
Yes.
When I said sensitization and orientation. The National Orientation Agency really needs to work with us. I say it all the time. We've tried to reach out to them. Our orientation as a people needs to be upgraded, you know, to use a nice word. You know, our orientation as a people, every single one of us, traditional rulers, religious rulers, the farmers, our children, our husbands, our women, you know, we need an upgrade, an update when it comes to our orientation. Until that is done, we will keep having food insecurity in the country, because I don't understand why a woman loses her husband. On the farmland, she's been farming for decades with her husband, and the family of the husband comes and kicks her out with 7 children with no source of livelihood.
And these are practices that need to end.
Are practices that need to end. And from this farm she's been kicked off, she eats maybe 30% of her farm produces and take the remaining 37% to the market. So that 70% that has been stopped from being taken to the market would reduce the access to food that you have as a Nigerian. So it's a complete value chain, and all hands has to be on deck in order for us to see positive change.